So it's the middle of February in Chicago, and the day has been glorious. It's, close to 60 degrees. The sun has been out. After a really kind of normal, i.e. cold January here, it's like feeds the soul, that sunshine. It's amazing. For humans, it causes some problems with plants in containers. And so today I want to talk about these two guys and a couple of things that I have done in order to make sure that the plants that are going in these containers on our terrace, which is west facing, so high sun exposure, are going to be successful year after year. The first thing that I want to talk about is plant selection, and how I make decisions about plant material that goes in containers is particularly for the evergreens. I think about them in terms of where do they grow naturally, and are they going to have similar conditions that they're going to face in this container. So I think about plant material that grows on the south face of a mountain slope. That environment is very similar to containers. They have high wind exposure, high sun exposure, multiple freeze-thaw cycles throughout the year, and then really kind of low soil volume, so they don't have a lot of soil to grow in. All of those things are exactly the same that plant material in containers on roof decks have to deal with. And so the selections that I've chosen, this is it's a juniper variety. I'm not sure which one, potentially sea green. And then behind me is a Bosnian pine. And these are plants that just grow in those conditions kind of naturally. That's just kind of how they evolved. And so they just perform really well in containers. Now, I do help them along. A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, put insulation around them. That'll insulate them. It doesn't really help. Honestly, like a half inch of insulation is not going to moderate the temperature in this container. Feel free to disagree with me. Prove me wrong. I think that the plant would prefer to have more volume of soil for its roots to grow into, and then just make better plant selection. Now, the other thing is, because these are evergreens, they are going to transpire moisture throughout the winter, and meaning that they lose moisture through their needles. And so on a day like this, when the soil has thawed, it is helpful. It's very helpful for them, even though they're used to growing in these conditions. It's very helpful to give them a little bit of water. So I've done that. They each got, somewhere around 7 gallons of water. And that's just going to set them up for success now as temperatures, who knows what they're going to do, over the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. Just really help them as spring is coming, days are longer, we're going to get more sunny days. Just a little bit of water. Give them a little kiss. It's 7 days later and 35 degrees colder. Welcome to Chicago winter, and proof in point why plant selection matters so much on roof decks here in the Great White North. Last week it was 61 degrees. The containers were completely unfrozen. I was able to water them, and now this week they are completely frozen again. This is the exact reason why plant selection matters so much in these containers. You can say like, oh, well, I'm going to get a plant that's hardy to a zone or 2 zones colder than Chicago and think that that's going to do it. But those plants aren't adapted to this amount of stress. So if you just take a plant that's growing in northern Wisconsin and in the middle of the woods and put it in here, it's not going to survive. And the reason for that is because of these drastic changes in temperature. They're used to sitting in a frozen ground all winter long and then thawing out in the spring. These guys are freezing and thawing sometimes on a weekly basis. That is why it's so important to select properly for these containers. But I just want to show you a couple of other things. So hold on. All right, so here it is, frozen solid. Yeah, it's just hard as a rock. Last week it sucked up water like nobody's business, and this week we are dealing with completely frozen burp, 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 yeah, soil. Yeah, so I'm telling you to plan ahead when selecting plant material. Now, the other thing I just want to point out is last week I watered. And that is because these little guys here, they're living, they're breathing, and they're losing water. And just that little bit of water is going to go a long way in helping them manage the stress that these freeze-thaw cycles will put that stress that they are put under. So then you say, well, what do I do now? What should I be doing at this point now that they've thawed, frozen, been watered? Absolutely nothing. Don't do anything. Just wait. Let them sit here, be cold, and then in another 7 days when it's 50, 60, 70 degrees again, then we can talk maybe about like maybe putting a little bit more water on them. But for right now, this is it. Just let them be. Like we've selected properly. These guys are going to do just fine.